Good afternoon, Tiger fans. We are live from CalGuard Gym at Trinity University in San Antonio, Texas. We are ready for another full day of basketball, a Sunday doubleheader between the Trinity Tigers and the Austin College Kangaroos. I'm Brian Yanselson, and I'm joined by Luke Terry. Luke, second end of a back-to-back. These teams both played yesterday. What are you expecting from them today as we get ready for this doubleheader?
Well, Brian, these teams are used to, during this conference season, a little bit of rest in between these matchups, typically playing on Friday and Sunday. So we might see some tired legs today. But one thing that I think is important for these home Tigers is not to take this matchup for granted today. Obviously, you can see on the screens, Trinity sitting in first place in the SCAC and Austin College down in ninth place. That 2-8 record doesn't really reflect the talent of this Austin side, though. Really have played some close games in their conference stretch so far, but obviously not the results they've wanted. For Trinity, come out, take care of business, take their opponent seriously, and I think they can pretty easily get the job done today if they accomplish those things.
Yeah, to your point, these Kangaroos coming off a heartbreaking loss really yesterday up in Kerrville. Lost on a last-second layup to Schreiner, and then they had to make the hour-and-a-half drive here to San Antonio to face the Tigers, who are in first place of the Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference. Lineups for you as we get set for tip-off for the Tigers: Caleb Jenkins, Enzo Seiki, AJ Clark, and Tanner Brown. Some familiar faces. They are joined by Mason Roberts, who will be making his first career start. The senior from Kerrville will be at center circle for the Kangaroos. Chanston Goodman, Tristan Dick, Jason Jones Jr., Jalen Clemens, and Jake Patton. And we are just about ready for basketball here in San Antonio. Roberts and Jones Jr. ready to jump. And we are officially underway at Trinity. AJ Clark with the first possession of the afternoon. Tigers coming off a thrilling victory yesterday against Centenary. Really a back-and-forth affair that ended up with a 19-point victory. And first shot of the afternoon, Caleb Jenkins, no good on a three, rebounded by Tristan Dick.
Yeah, Brian, but you're right in calling that one a thrilling matchup. Just a great performance from this Tiger side, incredibly efficient, and a lot of that had to do with how they shot the ball from the outside. 10 of 22 from deep on the day, and overall just good shot selection. Twos in close to the basket, getting a three to fall. We see a lot of the same today. You got to like the Tigers' odds.
And you got to like this defense on the first possession for the Tigers. They forced the shot clock down to 3. Kangaroos maintain possession, but they'll have to get something in a hurry. It'll be Goodman. No, now they switch to Jalen Clemens on the inbounds. He throws it in there. And the ball is bobbled, ends up in the hands of Seiki, who outlets it to Brown. And he deals with the contact and puts the layup up and in for the first points of the game. So the Tigers taking advantage of a turnover and getting a couple of easy points.
Yeah, not a whole lot that Austin College could do in that situation. Not a lot of teams running inbounds sidelines play from that deep in the corner had to force the issue. But when you do that against this Tigers team, more often than not, they're going to take advantage of it out on the run.
And Tanner Brown completes the three-point play. Trinity up 3-0 just a minute into this one. You see that Tigers pressure right at the half-court line. You'll see that all throughout this game. Tigers do not let up their full court pressure.
Yeah, but even when they sink back inside the arc, playing in this 2-3 zone right now, they're scrambling all over the place, forcing some tough shots from the outside.
That three-pointer no good from Goodman. And Tigers often running the other way. Clark settles the possession back in for Trinity. He backs down his man, back out to Brown. And now Enzo Seiki trying to post up. He spots up from the mid-range, just a little strong. Rebounded by Goodman.
Yeah, and Seiki obviously someone that this Tiger side wants the ball touch his hands. Like him down around the basket, attacking as much as possible rather than settling for those jump shots in that short corner.
First bucket of the game is good. That's Tristan Dick, the junior out of Houston. Averages 14 points a game for the Kangaroos. And Mason Roberts down low to his left, and he gives a fist pump to his bench, who is thrilled to see him starting for the first time in his 4 years here at Trinity.
Yeah, and a really strong move from Roberts right there to step around, take advantage of his size, and a really nice finish.
And a nice finish on the other end as well. That's Jake Patton. Sight for sore eyes for Austin College. Patton missed the first 12 games of this season, but he is back, and he's been in action the last few games, getting back into the swing of things. Nice no-look pass underneath, and not able to complete it is Jones Jr. He had everything but the bottom. Seiki open for three, and he knocks it down.
Yeah, just a great shot right there. Obviously gives it up to A.J. Clark, who gives it straight back to him, but great job by Seiki to get his feet under him, get back on balance, and knock down the three.
The three-point shot, something Enzo Seiki has really been working on, and it's showing. He is third in the SCAC in three-point percentage at just under 41%. So the big man getting out from beyond distance, and he's doing a great job. Austin College trying to respond, but that one's no good. Seiki with the rebound. Jenkins trying to take his man one-on-one, deals with a lot of contact. No foul called, and now Austin College with a fast break on their own. Ball going out of bounds. Referee looking for some help, and it'll be Austin College ball.
But again, a couple possessions in a row where this Tiger defense made a difference. That last possession forcing another outside shot from this Austin College team. And then in transition, the Tigers making sure they get back, getting a hand on that ball, knocking it out of bounds to make this Austin College team set up.
Freshly off the bench, number 32, Chase Tosca tried to get a three-pointer off the inbounds. No good. And then Trinity trying to go quickly with it. Tanner Brown stepping on the sideline. A couple of other new faces for Austin College. Rex King. He joins Tosca and the starters here. For Trinity, it's still the starting five. Tip ball there, saved by Tosca, and he gets it back out to Goodman. 14 on the shot clock. Trying to cut into the zone. Rex King able to finish.
Yeah, it's much better passing and patience from Austin College on that possession. Saw it a couple of times. Saw it a couple possessions ago as well on that reverse layup that just happened to rim out for them.
And wasting no time with Seiki there, pulling up from about the free throw line and getting to himself. So you can see both these teams want to go quickly, but especially the Tigers, who average 86 points per game, first in the conference, 22nd in the nation.
One thing you have to note is even though that this Austin College team is playing a little bit better, taking their time on this side of the court, they're still having to work awfully hard, taking the shot clock well down under into single digits right there.
And taking advantage of an offensive rebound there, converting on the second chance points. We are well under the under 16, but these teams playing freely. No stoppage of play. The next one will give us a timeout. Instead, Austin College from three. That is Jalen Clements, and they take the first lead of the game. Kangaroos playing well, shooting 50% from the floor. Clark able to find Brown under the basket, looking for some contact, but none called. So Austin College going the other way with a chance to build on this early lead.
Down on that last attempt from Brown right there. It looks like he hesitated a little bit. Seen him draw a number of and ones in the past 2 days. I think he was looking for the same there, but forgot the first half of it. Has to put the ball in the basket on that one.
And looks like the Kangaroos have found a nice little rhythm there underneath the basket with the give and goes. We'll see what they come up with after the timeout. Our first stoppage of play comes with just over 14 minutes. We'll be right back on Tiger Network. Welcome back to Tiger Network. Both teams playing well. No fouling until this very shot. And just one turnover for both teams has resulted in a fast pace of play. Waiting until the 14:07 mark for our first media timeout. I don't think either team will be complaining, and neither will the fans at this pace.
Oh, absolutely. This is what we've grown accustomed to from this Tiger side, so living up to expectations so far here today, Brian.
Rex King at the line for his first free throw. He rattles it home. Rex King, the junior from Bulverde, Texas, right outside of San Antonio, the Smithson Valley graduate. Did not play versus Trinity back in December, and he was scoreless against Schreiner last night. But the San Antonio native knocks down his free throws, and Jordan Littman goes the other way and ties the game, or puts Trinity down 1. Austin College up 13-12. Jacob Harvey with the steal. He has some open floor in front of him, and he takes it himself, misses the layup, and then fighting for the offensive rebound, but it goes to Austin College. So going a little quickly there, unable to complete the fast break opportunity.
Yeah, and I'm sure in that situation, Harvey anticipated some sort of contest from the defenders, went up, surely bracing himself for that, and when it didn't come, a little bit off balance in order to finish that one.
And once again, we see the Kangaroos finding a nice little rhythm there underneath the basket with the hockey assist going on, and they get another bucket. 6-4-11 from the floor so far. Griffin Levine loses handle of the ball, so a turnover there for the Tigers, just their second. Something the Tigers have really wanted to work on. Their turnovers, they average over 16 a game. And in 2 of their 3 losses, they've had over 20 turnovers, so not a coincidence that when they turn the ball over, they lose.
Yeah, and it's something that I think we see a lot from teams that really try to push the pace, Brian, but it's important to be mature enough and patient enough to understand when they need to slow it down, when to set up the offense rather than forcing the issue going to the basket.
Shot clock running out, but Jason Jones Jr. right there for another bucket. So the Kangaroos have hit their last 4 shots, and they have a wide open opportunity here, and it's completed from Tristan Dick. So just like that, the Kangaroos with a 7-point lead.
Yeah, just a little bit of a lack of focus right here from the Tigers to start this one. Not making the sharpest passes. We've seen them miss a couple of open attempts at the rim, really. Those are the things that they need to clean up right here, and certainly they'll be back in this one.
A.J. Clark trying to pull things closer, and he somehow bounces it in. Boy, he's had a couple of great bounces go his way yesterday just before the half. Had a 3-point shot go off the glass, and now this one bouncing all over the rim and in. Much needed 3 for the Tigers. Trying to respond the other way, but it is no good. Clemens feeling good after his first make. Clark airmails it, trying to get it to Littman, but it is intercepted by Goodman. And then the alley-oop attempt is disrupted. Tigers running the other way. Littman got it out to Levine, but there was some contact before that, so they're going to call the foul.
And this fast pace continues, but A.J. Clark knocks down that 3 to stop the bleeding a little bit for the Tiger side. And for Austin College, in that last possession, we saw them shoot a 3, saw them turn the ball back over to the Tigers. Those are the things that they need to avoid. You talked about them really passing the ball well, getting inside the paint, and we saw them go on that big run because of those things. But Tigers got out to that hot start because they were forcing this Kangaroo side to shoot from the outside. So for Austin College, taking that time on their offensive possessions to spread the ball around, get it into the paint, incredibly important for them. For the Tigers, that swarming defense, continuing to move your feet, getting those hands active is probably the next step for them.
And you talked about at the start of this game, 5-14 record for the Kangaroos, 2-8 in conference, but it doesn't reflect how they've been playing, especially as of late. Not only did they lose on a buzzer beater yesterday to Schreiner, but they've lost their last 2 games by just a combined 5 points. They took the TLU Bulldogs to overtime and lost by 4. So this is a team that has been competitive, still has a chance at making the SCAC tournament. They currently sit in last place of the conference, but they're 2 games behind TLU for that 6th tournament spot. And those teams are bunched up right there. Kangaroos still play TLU, Southwestern, Dallas, and Colorado, the teams that are right ahead of them. So every game matters to them. So they're looking for this big upset here in San Antonio. Harvey gets the pass in off of the media timeout. Jacob Harvey joined by Griffin Levine, Jordan Littman, David Nickel. Harvey posts up from 3, and something's working with the rim there. It's a couple of lucky bounces. Get some 3-pointers for the Tigers, and they pull to within 1. It's the beauties of playing at home.
Absolutely. Talked about it today a couple times already, but I remember that one you referenced earlier, that A.J. Clark shot, that and one, seemed like a big moment in yesterday's game.
Yeah, yesterday was one of those games where if you just check the box score or were kind of in and out, you totally missed the flow of the game. Tigers were up by 10 over Centenary, and then they were up by as many as 17 before the Gents stormed back to tie the game and even take the lead. It was tied at 70 here, and then the Tigers went on a 22-3 run to win by 19, but it was much closer than that for most of the game. Levine trying to find space underneath. He's unable to get it to go, and the ball saved there. Nice diving effort by Patton.
One thing we've seen in the last couple of minutes of this game, though, Brian, is this Austin College side doing a nice job of retreating in transition, making sure that they force this Trinity side to set up their offense, something that they've struggled with a little bit today, but Littman does a good job there, taking away that slip pass underneath the basket.
And he takes it all the way across the court and draws the foul. You said it perfectly, Littman. The first time we've seen the Tigers adjust to that pass underneath, he was able to swipe the ball away. So we'll see if after these couple of timeouts, Coach Jimmy Smith highlighted that and they're able to stop that, because the Kangaroos have definitely had those opportunities down low. Jack Williams in for Trinity. He replaces Griffin Levine. And Jack Williams had quite the game yesterday. Had 5 points off the bench, but provided a real burst. And he had as many points yesterday as he had in the previous 7 games combined. And the senior yesterday was really pumped up. Him and Nickel had a nice connection a couple of times. And it's what we've seen from this Trinity team. Just from top to bottom, you never know who's going to contribute on any given day.
So far, really enjoyed the play of Jordan Littman today. Stepped in with that second unit and provided a pretty immediate spark for a team that was struggling a little bit in their half-court offense. So long, lanky, did a great job cutting to the basket, getting inside.
3-pointer missed by Austin College, and Harvey taking some contact, ending up on the floor, but he'll head to the line. And Littman, as you're mentioning, one of those guys that have really stepped up in his freshman, sophomore year, really a go-to scorer at Trinity now as a senior, taking on a different role, but he's really cherished it coming off the bench and starting when needed. And he's had a couple of big shots in some close games as of late as Harvey sinks his first free throw. Littman had the go-ahead 3-pointer with 25 seconds left up in Seguin against TLU. And then here at home in the big, big win against St. Thomas, had a steal and a big 3 in the second half to get the Tigers right back in that game. Trinity recaptures the lead at 22-21 off of those free throws from Harvey. And then a 10-second violation called on the Kangaroos. That gets the Tigers bench on their feet. If you've joined us on Tiger Network this season, you know that the 10-second violation is one of my favorite things to keep track of, especially with these teams that pressure so much, both the men's and the women's teams. It's fun to see if the teams can get it across in 10 seconds.
And on that last call, Brian, a little bit deceiving from Trinity. They sink back that full court pressure just a little bit.
Offensive foul drawn by David Nickel. Kangaroos were trying to go quickly off the turnover, but they'll turn it right back to the Tigers.
And after that mini explosion from this Austin College side and some, boneheaded mistakes from this Trinity side, it really seems like the Tigers have settled in nicely to this game, kind of in every facet at this point. Passing the ball, distributing it a lot better, starting to attack the basket, get to the free throw line. Nickel feeding Tanner Brown, finishes that nice reverse layup. Just everything going right for the Tigers right now.
Trying to get the bounce pass there was Clemens, trying to find Dick, but it is off the foot of the Tigers, so the Kangaroos will retain possession. Clemens on the baseline with 20 seconds left, and he is denied by David Nickel, so we'll have to do that again. All 6'8" of David Nickel coming into play there. Clemens this time able to get it into Goodman, and he'll set up the Austin College offense. Antosca pulls up from 3, and that one just rattles out.
And after that miss, Austin College sinks to 1 for 8 from deep on the day, something that they're really going to need to get going as this Trinity side is really taking away that backdoor cut and those little slip passes underneath the basket for those easy layups.
And Nickel posting up Patton, and the nice little hook shot over him. Nickel contributing both defensively and offensively, and then as you see there, providing plenty of energy. He was pumping up the crowd yesterday on what was yet another Stashy Friday victory. Stashy Friday just becoming Stashy Saturday, but the tradition lives on and the win streak lives on. But as you might notice, the mustaches are gone from the Tigers today. Everybody shaved as soon as they got that victory. That three-pointer good from Dick, and he gets some cheers from the crowd. Several Austin College fans in attendance with some locals on the court for both the men's and women's teams. Dick had 19 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 steals versus Trinity in December, really filling up the stat sheet. And he averages 14, so look to him to get going. He has 7 here early on, 3 for 3 from the floor. So Austin's most efficient shooter thus far. We are under the 8-minute timeout. That means we will take a quick break. Trinity up 26-24, and we'll be right back on Tiger Network. Welcome back to Tiger Network. Jordan Lippman at the line for the Tigers. His first free throw is good. We have a close one on our hands early on. Trinity up 27-24. Austin actually out shooting the Tigers from the floor, but they're 2 for 9 shooting from 3 compared to Trinity's 3 for 5. That is the small difference in this game thus far.
Yeah, Brian, also, in addition to that, this Tiger side doing a better job of attacking the basket, earning some trips to the foul line, shooting 7 for 7 there on the day as compared to this Austin College's 2 for 2 effort.
Shot clock down to 5. Tigers doing a nice job getting the Kangaroos to scramble, and they will force the shot clock violation. And once again, the Tigers bench all on their feet. Great effort there defensively to force the turnover. It's a couple of times now we've seen Trinity force the Kangaroos to take a last-second shot. And lots of contact there. Tanner Brown will be headed back to the line.
Fouls at number 3, Chancellor Goodman. That is his second. Team foul number 7 at the line.
Tanner Brown recorded his second double-double of the season yesterday, and both his double-doubles have come against Centenary. He knocks down his first free throw. Brown also with 4 consecutive games in double-digit scoring. So after a little bit of a lull in January where he didn't make a 3 for over a month, Brown back and contributing for the Tigers like we're so used to seeing. Had a fantastic year as a first year last year, and now as a sophomore contributing to this first place Tigers squad. Brown and Harvey forcing the pressure. Tigers wanted a travel. Instead, the Kangaroos get an easy opportunity down low. Jones Jr. lays it up and in. Harvey the other way in the corner. The 3 no good. Loose ball foul called on Nickel as he was going for the rebound. No, actually the foul going on number 11, Patton of Austin College. Getting a look at this replay right here.
The line is David Nickel.
So Nickel instead going to the line.
1-1.
Front end of the 1-and-1, no good, but Tanner Brown tips it out to Jack Williams, and the Tigers retain possession. Harvey sails it to Brown, who puts up for 3, no good, but again, a foul down low. This time it will be going against number 33, Nickel. On Tosca trying to get it across the half-court line. Harvey and Brown meet him there. Kangaroos now in their half-court offense, dealing with the zone. Clemens trying to get around Brown, and the ball knocked loose and collected by Nickel. Nickel then gets it to Brown, wide open for 3, and it's good.
That's a great shot in transition from Brown right there. Takes his time to step into it. He had the open Littman in the corner as well, so important that he knocked that one down. But it seems like after a couple of free throws that he's seen go through for him, he's really feeling it, that shooting stroke.
Yeah, very early on, make it 5 games in a row with double-digit points as he's up to 10. And then he gets a rebound there, his 4th of the game, so double-double watch perhaps early on. Brown thinking about the 3, instead fakes out Dick, and he will head to the line once again.
Number 4, Tristan Dick, 17, foul number 9.
And Tigers starting to grow this lead a little bit right here, back up to 7 points right now, but as you mentioned, he goes to the line right here. The Tigers in the bonus, something that they really need to take advantage of as they continue this half, something that they have taken advantage of to this point. 9 of 10 from the free throw line, make it 10 of 11 after that last make, as compared to Austin College, who still sits with only 2 attempts on the day.
Yeah, and it's really been a big difference because still to this minute, Austin College out shooting Trinity, but it's those free points at the line that finds Trinity ahead by 9.
It seems like this Austin College side is just a little bit complacent on offense really early on in possession. This is one of the first times that we've seen them early in the shot clock get the ball inside the arc.
Harvey pulls up from 3 early on, but that one is way off. Ruse going the other way. Dick lays it up and in over Seiki. But look at this frantic pace. Harvey finds Littman, who takes a hard fall on the court. But he again will be headed to the line. Not much time to breathe for either of these teams, and this is with both of them coming off of a game yesterday. Incredible to see the energy and the pace at which both of these teams are at it.
Yeah, a lot of factors that are tiring these guys out early on in this one. Talk about that first media timeout, that under 16 timeout coming all the way at the 14-minute mark. Tigers get no substitutes into the game before they got that first break. And as this first half continues to wind down, I think we're starting to see the effects of yesterday's game and the fast pace so far in the last couple of minutes here.
Littman hits both of his free throws and then is replaced by A.J. Clark. A.J. Clark joins Enzo Seiki, Caleb Jenkins, Ashton Owens, and Jack Williams. So a couple of starters out there with a couple of replacements off the bench. Antosca nearly trapped in the corner. Rue swinging it around. Antosca gets it back in the corner, trying to drive in, finds King, and he floats it up and in. Jenkins finds Seiki, fakes out the 3, then finds Williams for the mid-range jumper, just a little strong.
Yeah, Brian, and not many of those shots being taken by this Trinity side this season. I think that is a big reason for their success. They really focus on taking the most efficient shots.
Foul called on Enzo Seiki. And at 3:57, we'll take our final media timeout of the first half. Tigers up 37-30 over Austin College. We'll be right back on Tiger Network.
Officials timeout for a review. Please note the Tiger men will return home on Wednesday. Two shots.
Welcome back to Tiger Network. Out of that timeout, you might have seen the replay looking at whether that was a flagrant foul on Seiki, and they have granted that flagrant. So Rex King at the line for a couple of free throws. And he knocks those down. And Austin College will retain possession. Chance for a big possession for the Roos to get back into this one after those two free throws, and maintaining possession on Tosca. Thought about a three, instead met by Owens and Clark. King trying to get it in, but Williams intercepts it. Gets it to Jenkins, who sidesteps King. Has some contact, but it'll go against Jenkins. Offensive foul.
Foul number 5, Caleb Jenkins. That's his first. Team foul number 5.
I think that's an issue that we see from this Tiger side a little bit, trying to force the issue in transition. Jack Williams, a name you talked about earlier on in this game, the role he played yesterday. Came away with that one after Jenkins had the deflection on it, got that break started, and he filled the lane really nicely. I think being unselfish, finding the open cutter right there would have been the better option for the Tigers. Coming back the other way, Austin College able to find a layup. Jenkins goes to the ground hard again. Always a name that we see going to the ground. Speaks a lot to the way he plays this game.
Yeah, very energetic play always from Jenkins. This time he will get the blocking foul called, but it looks like Jason Jones took a hard fall, a little slow to get up. We'll take a quick break on Tiger Network. Be right back.
Jackson Rennie in the game for Austin College.
Welcome back after that quick break. Jones Jr. going to the bench to get looked at after he took a hard fall, and Jenkins at the line for the Tigers. First free throw a little short, but able to get in there. Jenkins knocks down both free throws, so the hot free throw shooting for the Tigers continues now. 15 for 16 from the line, a whopping 94%.
Yeah, Brian, not only shooting really well, but shooting a lot of free throws. 16 a total that, you might see after a full game, but we still have 3 minutes left here in the first half. Tigers in the bonus, so expect them to continue to go to the free throw line and shoot more.
Full speed ahead there was Seiki, but he was no good trying to get the quick bucket. Dick with the three from the top of the key, no good. Rebound by Jenkins, and again, off and running, takes some contact and gets the bucket to go. Count the points.
Yeah, another really strong take from Jenkins. Coast to coast right there. Not the greatest contest from Austin College. I've seen him, with some fancier finishes like that up and under the defense. We've seen him also try and go straight through the chest of some defenders, and he struggled to state what the correct approach is in guarding a guy like that. But I've seen a couple of people stand in there try and take the charge.
We saw a lot of charges yesterday, both Centenary and Trinity putting their bodies on the line. On Tosca with the nice layup there for the Roos, keeping them within distance as the half comes to a close. Owens with the touch pass, saving it. Jenkins thought about the three for a second, instead kicks it out to Clark. Drives out to Owens, and short from Ashton. Clemens finds King driving into the paint, and King is able to get that one in. So King having a standout performance as he returns to San Antonio. Mentioned the Smithson Valley grad. He is in double digits, leading the Roos with 12 points. A.J. Clark off the offensive rebound. He will be headed to the line. A line we've said over and over now. You've highlighted how well they're shooting from the line. 16 for 17. We're not unused to seeing the Tigers going to the line. In fact, they are 4th in all of Division III with 510 free throw attempts, and they're 5th with 347 makes. But even though they go to the line a ton, it doesn't mean that they've always made them. They're actually 6th in the SCAC, shooting just 68%. So this 94% clip is truly outstanding for the Tigers.
Clark knocks both of those down after he grabbed that offensive rebound that you mentioned. And offensive rebounding not been a huge part of the game for either of these sides, but the 4 that Trinity does have to this point, they felt pretty big.
Tigers bench hoping for some contact there on the fast break opportunity, but nothing called. Tigers up 6 with a minute to go here in San Antonio. Goodman has the ball taken away from him, but a foul will be called. And it is going to be called on Goodman, so it's Goodman trying to save it.
Brian, even as this half begins to wind down, this Trinity side, just as energetic as they came out, you can hear the bench talking on the defensive side of the ball.
Jenkins gets that first one to go. Goodman will come out of the game, replaced by Christian Lura from El Paso. And a name we haven't called at all for Austin College, a little bit of a surprise, is Jackson Rennie, the freshman from Colleyville, who is the Roos' leading scorer at over 14 points a game. He scored 24 points against these Tigers when the Kangaroos lost in Sherman to Trinity. But he has played just 4 minutes and only 2 points on the board. So if the Roos want to make a comeback in this one, you expect to see him with a little bit more action, but the Tigers have kept him quiet thus far. He's currently in the game. Clemens over to King, and there is Rennie in the corner. He cuts in, trying to make something happen, and he's fouled. And clapping after that call, trying to get his teammates pumped up before the half. Rennie scoring those 24 points against Trinity on 6 for 16 from 3. So someone who can get red hot pretty quickly. And a timeout called here. As we actually even saw yesterday, these last seconds before the half can be so crucial to give momentum to one side or another going into the locker room. So we'll take a quick break. Trinity up 46-38. Jackson Rennie at the line for the first of a 1-and-1. And he gets that one to go.
Just before we went to that break, Brian, you mentioned how crucial the last seconds of these halves can be. But also important to note that it took until these last seconds for this Austin College side to reach the bonus. So this swarming defense has been really, really great for the Tigers today, forcing deflections and turnovers. And in addition to that, no fouling has been a really, really big part of the success that the Tigers have had here today.
Ball will stay with the Tigers off of that bounce, out of bounds. A.J. Clark trying to get the 2-for-1 opportunity with 41 seconds remaining. We'll see if the Tigers continue to try to go quickly. Millhouse into Marquez. Screen set for Clark, and he floats it up and fouled as he does. Foul number 15 for Austin College, and free throws 22 and 23 coming up for Trinity. Been the story of the half so far, Luke.
Yeah, absolutely. Outnumbering Austin College in attempts. What will be 23-6 after these couple of attempts here. But in addition to getting obviously quality attempts at the line right here, important to note that Clark had the presence of mind to take that shot with 36 seconds still left in the half, so guaranteeing the Tigers another possession on offense and likely the last shot before they head into the locker room.
Absolutely a smart decision there from the senior. Both free throws no good, but look at that. Clark getting his own rebound. Ashton Owens unable to capitalize, but yet another opportunity for the Tigers, really battling on the offensive glass. And now they'll get the chance to get one more opportunity. 12 seconds left on the shot clock, so it won't quite be the last shot unless they get another offensive rebound. But Millhouse now with 6 seconds. Clark trying to make something happen. Millhouse forces it up, and it is off, but another rebound, and Marquez puts it up. So not one, not two, not three, 4 opportunities for the Tigers until they convert, and then the half-court shot, no good. So some energy for the Tigers going into the half. They will be up 48-40. Story of the half absolutely has to be the Roos out shooting Trinity 51-38%, but those 20 free throws to the Roos 6, that gives Trinity this 8-point lead. Your thoughts quickly before the half, Luke?
I think you hit it on the head right there, Brian. This is an Austin College side that's going to need to clean up things on the defensive end. They're going to need to clean things up when the Tigers getting out in transition. Really, we saw a lot of fouls come really, really far away from the basket when this Kangaroo side turned the ball over. They need to do a better job of getting back, setting up in the paint, going up upright, and keeping this Trinity side off the free throw line, forcing them to make some shots from the field in the second half.
Should be a good second half. Once again, Tigers up 48-40. We'll take a 14-minute break for the half, and we'll be right back with you on Tiger Network. Hello again, Tiger fans. We are back for the second half of this first game of a doubleheader. Austin College at 40, Trinity 48. We have the women's teams playing right after this one. So a full day of basketball yet again in San Antonio. We are lucky to bring it to you on Tiger Network, and thank you for joining us. The Roos trying to get it going here, down 8. Pass nearly taken away there by Clark.
Yeah, Brian, and you mentioned down 8 here to start the second half. Comes as almost a little bit of a surprise, with as much as we focused on the way that the Trinity Tigers got to the free throw line in the first half. But this Roos team shot it really, really well from the field, finishing over 50% in that first half, but off to a little bit of a shaky start, missing that first shot. Nice run out. Tanner Brown with that easy layup. Put the Tigers up by double digits here to start the second, and then immediately another turnover from Austin College.
And these are some big minutes coming out of the half as both teams try to make adjustments. Seiki posting up, going with a strong move over Jones and gets his own miss, puts it right back up and misses again. Seiki a little bit frustrated with that one. Ball will stay with Trinity, a couple of opportunities. But these minutes coming out of the half really key, and these two teams, when they met in December up in Sherman, Trinity won 89-80. At one point they led 28-8 very early on out of the gates, but the Roos came all the way back to lead 61-60 before the Tigers came out on top, as Seiki finally gets that third opportunity to go. But that 20-point lead evaporating very quickly, so even though Trinity up 12 now, there's a lot of time for the Roos to come back.
Absolutely, but for the Roos, important to get some shots to fall here, and Tigers quickly taking control, getting a good grasp of this game in the first couple of minutes right now. We saw in that last possession, Enzo Seiki for the first time really starting to bang down low, making his physicality known. Had a couple of attempts and finally found the bottom of the net, put the Tigers up by 12.
Seiki with 7 points today. He led the way yesterday with 21 points over the Gents of Centenary, but it is currently Tanner Brown who hits another jump shot right there, who leads the way for the Tigers. He's up to 16.
Brian, Tanner Brown, definitely one of my favorite players on this Tiger roster to watch, because he kind of gets it done in every capacity. See him come down with that rebound right there and lead it the other way for the Tigers, but a guy that can knock it down from the outside, as we've mentioned, gets to the basket so well.
Nice
starts to pump up the crowd a little bit right here. Great start to this second half for this Trinity side.
Yeah, a nice little connection here. Seiki and Brown on fire coming out of the half, and Trinity extends their lead to 16, their biggest of the afternoon. Austin College calling a timeout, trying to get things in order. We'll be right back on Tiger Network. Welcome back to Tiger Network, where the Tigers are on an 8-0 run to start the second half. They've doubled their lead to 16 over the Roos. They called a quick timeout to try to fix things and not let this game slip away from them. Tosca able to get it across with no pressure. Not often we see Trinity not providing that full court pressure, but the Roos now in their half-court offense. Pass there, knocked away but recovered. Goodman gets it to Tosca, who gets Seiki to bite, and then he takes a mid-range jump shot, no good, and once again soaring for the rebound is Brown, looking for some help. Pass then intercepted, and it will stay with Austin.
And Tanner Brown just getting caught in a tough position right there underneath his own basket. Not typically a place you want to try and save the ball. Tigers defense still off to a really strong start here in the second half. As you mentioned, AJ Clark with a deflection on that last possession before that missed shot. Austin College regaining possession right here, but Mason Roberts, a good contest there in the paint. Austin College gets the first bucket of the game to go, of the second half, excuse me, to go nevertheless.
Cutting in from the corner, no good is Brown, but Roberts right there for the offensive rebound and the putback. Crowd going wild for Roberts, up to 4 points now. That's his season high. This is just his 9th appearance and his first start, not only this season, but in his career. So good to see the senior from Kerrville producing, and Seiki with the steal. Clark going quickly the other way, trying to dissect the defense, taking it to on Tosca, fires it to Brown, then over to Seiki, and he hits the three, and the Tigers are rolling here, up 19 now.
And Brian, you talked about it earlier on in the game, Seiki's improvement from deep. Not only is he shooting the ball so well, but this speed at which he's getting it off, that shot coming out so quickly, so hard to defend at Seiki's size.
Seiki joins Brown in double figures now and is 2 for 2 from 3-point range. Seiki has worked tirelessly on improving his 3-point shot this year to add to his post game, and it has really shown. Mentioned at the top, he's 3rd in the conference in 3-point shooting, and it is such a great weapon for him to have, adding to his 6'6" frame.
Number 32, Chase Tosca hits second. Team foul number 2.
On Tosca committing the offensive foul there, and things really slipping away from the Roos. They've battled well in the first half. Brown with the heat check 3, just a little off. But the Roos have to be a little tired. Had that really tough loss at the last second against TLU. Or sorry, against Shriner, had that overtime loss to TLU over the last couple of days. Played last night in Kerrville, had to drive about an hour and a half south to San Antonio, and you can see it starting to show on these Roos. First media timeout will find us with Trinity up 61-42. We'll take a quick break on Tiger Network. Be right back. Tigers on a roll coming out of halftime. They have taken a 19-point lead thanks to a 13-2 run, led by some hot shooting from Seiki and Brown.
Ryan, we talked a lot about Tigers' free throw percentage in this game. We've talked about the Kangaroos' shooting percentage from the field in general, but I think one thing that you can really focus in on that has really hurt this Kangaroo side so far today has been their shooting from the three-point line specifically. Only 2 of 14, 14.3% on the day. They haven't been able to get the ball inside consistently. They've been forced to take a lot of really tough shots from the outside. They just haven't been able to knock them down.
And that's really not a new problem, as that second free throw rattles out. Split 1 of 2. Hasn't been a new problem for the Roos, who are 6th in the conference in three-point shooting, and in their loss yesterday to Shriner, they were 18% from beyond the arc. That's their 3rd lowest showing of the season. So it's been a real concern for them, and they just haven't been able to get it going here in San Antonio. And when you're not getting to the line and you're not getting easy buckets against a defense as tough as Trinity's, you're going to have to knock down those threes, and they just haven't been able to do so. It's really the one area that if you can knock down your threes against this Trinity zone, you're going to find some success. The space is usually there. We saw Centenary take advantage of it and come back from down 17 yesterday. But the Roos just unable to get it going. Still have time, just under 15 minutes, but they trail by 18.
It especially hurts in a scenario like this because you need those extra points. You need to take advantage of possessions where you can score 3 rather than 2 in order to claw your way back in the games against tougher opponents.
And one area in particular this Tigers defense has done an outstanding job of fixing is that play down low. Early on, we mentioned a few times Austin College found some easy buckets with the give and goes in the paint, but this Trinity defense has adjusted. And you saw in that last possession, they stopped it. And on the other end, Mason Roberts, with his 3rd bucket of the afternoon, he's up to 6 points. So you got to credit this Tigers defense, Jimmy Smith, making that adjustment early on after the first media timeout. And it's been lockdown D ever since. Clark somehow finds Harvey across the court, but he gets it over to Brown. And Brown turns around to celebrate with the student section, runs into the referee along the way, but he's just excited, and he should be up to 19 points on the day.
And another aspect of the three-point shooting and the misses that come from it, that stem from it for this Austin College side. Really some long caroms on those rebounds, and it kind of plays directly into the style of play that the Tigers are aiming for, allowing them to get out on the run, push the ball in transition.
Clark sees that that 3 is no good, gets his own miss, finds Brown under the bucket, and one of the easiest ones he's going to have today is no good, and he can't believe it. He's made so many, and that one's just off. Couple of new names now in for the Tigers. Braxton Berry, Abdullah Roberts in for the first time today with 13 minutes left in this second half and a big 21-point lead. You can imagine you might see Coach Jimmy Smith looking to rest some of his starters. This is a big week of games, lots of games in a few days. I mentioned this is the second end of a back-to-back, so definitely wanted to get his guys some rest and give some guys opportunities, and Barry taking advantage right away, coming in and getting his first bucket.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You get the opportunity to get some different guys in there, allow them to compete. The other aspect of it, though, is that they're just as capable as a lot of these starters for this Tigers side. The level of excitement in this one not going to drop off as we see Braxton Berry enter this game, immediately come get a bucket and then send a shot back, a couple of shots back actually, and get his bench up on its feet.
What a burst of energy from Berry, coming in, getting the layup, and then back-to-back blocks. Are they going to try him again? No, they are not. They kick it out for 3, and Clemens gets it to go. But what a possession for Braxton Berry. Berry, one of 11 first years for this Trinity squad. And a lot of them have gotten great playing time, Jacob Harvey being chief among them. But a team with 7 seniors, 11 first years, a very interesting dynamic. But things have been working out pretty well, I'd say, for the Tigers. 17-3 coming into today, 9-2 in conference, and winners of 6 in a row.
Yeah, absolutely been successful for them this year. Talk about their recent success, but certainly should prove beneficial in years to come as this group of freshmen get some experience in games here and some more meaningful minutes.
Barry that time trying to go for the acrobatic rebound. The referee says it belongs to Austin. But I agree with you, Luke. This young roster getting such good experience in close games throughout the season will only help Jimmy Smith's program. Coach Smith, in just his 2nd year with Trinity, but already with outstanding results. The regular season champions last year, coming up just short in the SCAC title game to St. Thomas, but they are looking for revenge this year. Some hectic play down at this end. Looked like Jones might have walked with the ball at first. Instead, it ends up being a jump ball that will stay with Austin. With the Tigers, last year, the shortened spring season that we dealt with, very sad to not have fans in the stands. I know you and I, Luke, love having people back in the stands, and with school back in session, the energy in here has been great these past 2 days.
Yeah, it's certainly picked up, and Coach Jimmy Smith, who came over last year in his first season during the pandemic, immediately turned around the program. So certainly disappointing not to have fans in the stand as the Tigers kind of changed their style of play. This run and gun offense, getting out in transition, a lot of excitement, a lot of high scoring games that we've seen this season. We've seen this Tiger squad break that century mark a couple of times, something that they were honestly on the way towards here today, but not something that's going to be all that necessary. And I'm sure that Coach Smith and honestly we as well would prefer to see this Tiger squad get some new fresh faces into the game, and with over 11 minutes to go in this one.
And you see right there on your screen, Coach Jimmy Smith drawing up some plays during the timeout. Smith, no stranger to turning around programs. He spent some time at Texas Lutheran, going from worst place in the SCAC when Smith arrived to first place and winning the conference. And coming from Millsaps right before getting to Trinity, Millsaps had 4 wins when Smith arrived, and when he left, they had 17. And now he's done a remarkable job here in San Antonio, and the Tigers looking for their first NCAA tournament appearance since 2014. So we're back from the media timeout. Jones finding no room under the basket. Once again, a jump ball, and this time the possession arrow points away of the Tigers. So Jones having a lot of trouble down there.
Black ball, Tigers ball.
Seiki, the lone starter out there for Trinity. Roberts trying to get it over to Barry, turns it over. Jones one-on-one with Owens, and he's going to be fouled.
Foul to number 4. Ashton Owens is first, team foul number 5.
Jones with just 6 points today, 3 of 5 from the floor. Does have 4 assists, had a big night yesterday. 18 points and 11 rebounds, a double-double against Schreiner as that first free throw bounces off. Pierce Matthews comes into the game for Enzo Seiki, so could be the last we see of the Tiger starters. We'll see what transpires with 11 minutes to go. Tigers up 22. Both free throws off for Jones, and Barry collects the rebound. Jones able to save it on the other end. Clemens. Tigers with 3 turnovers themselves in the past minute, but they've kept that number pretty low at 11. Foul on the floor, number 15, Matthews.
We've talked a lot to this point about the freshmen and some new fresh faces coming into this game. with a lot of time remaining, more meaningful minutes, but another aspect of it is the fact that they get to enter this game and play with some veterans. Obviously, Seiki headed towards the bench, but Harvey, someone that we've seen mixed into the rotation pretty commonly with some older guys. But Matthews out there, Barry out there with Owens and Abdullah Roberts finishing out the 5 on the floor. It's not a group of 5 freshmen playing together. It's a group of a mixed group that's going to continue to run the offense, continue to talk and communicate on defense, and I think that makes these minutes even more meaningful.
Absolutely, and if you tuned in to Tiger Network early on in the season, Coach Smith was experimenting with the very strict rotations of 5 guys at a time, and so we got used to seeing some of these freshmen out there. He's gone away from that a little bit, gone back to conventional subbing. We're just going with the hot hand and what the game situation calls for. But to your point, these guys are used to being out there. They've gotten minutes on the floor, so they are not afraid of the big moment and getting their opportunity. Clemens gets it into Jones and then gets it right back in the corner. The 3 is no good, so the struggles continue from distance. 2 for 18 from 3 are the Kangaroos. Harvey with a nice pass, and Abdullah Roberts draws the foul.
Yeah, Brian, as you mentioned, that 2 for 18 mark from deep for this Kangaroo squad. It seemed to be a lot of the same in this second half. Tigers have done a good job of taking that slip pass away underneath the basket. We've seen Austin College take a lot of threes from the outside, contested threes, some really deep threes from 3, 4, 5 feet beyond that 3-point line, and they just haven't been falling all day long.
Abdullah Roberts split his pair of free throws, gets on the board for the first time. First time in a couple of games with some points, as he was scoreless against TLU and Centenary. 3 no good again, but the Roos get the offensive rebound. Second chance still no good, and Harvey collects it for the Tigers. Matthews finds Owens in the corner, who then swings it to Harvey, open for 3, just short, but the rebound to the first year. The Tigers get another chance.
On this possession specifically, nice to see the patience off the offensive rebound as the Tigers pull it back out, decide to run the offense rather than forcing up another quick shot.
Late in the shot clock, though, the ball is turned over. Inbounding the pass for the Roos, someone we have not seen today, Jonathan Lawrence, the junior from Lucas, Texas. He's joined out there by Caleb Bennett, who just got that pass. He's been in there for a couple of minutes, but hasn't seen a lot of action. So Coach Rodney Wecker also diving into his bench as his team trails by 22. Goodman with a nice layup there. Coach Wecker, in his 15th season as head coach for Austin College, made the SCAC semifinals last year, losing to this very Trinity team right here in CalGuard Gym. But he has lots of experience before Austin. Was the assistant at Whitworth College for 14 years. So lots of experience there on the sidelines for Coach Wecker and the Roos. It's a men's and women's program for the Roos that has seen some success, especially the women winning the SCAC championship 2 years ago. And we are both excited to get to see that matchup immediately following this game, as the Trinity women's team, winners of 16 in a row, face Coach Vilander's Kangaroos.
Yeah, Brian, you talked about the recent success for the women from Austin College. A little bit odd to see where they're sitting in the standings right now, 5-5 record, but just like we talked about in the opening of this one, not a team that should be taken lightly, and it should be a super exciting matchup following us here.
Rex King gets a couple of more points, and if anybody has had an outstanding game, it is him. 16 points, leading the way for the Kangaroos, and he is 6 for 6 from the floor at 4 free throws. And the San Antonio native having a standout day. Rex King feeling confident, but gets his first miss of the afternoon. This game originally was going to happen on Friday night as Jones gets the turnover, tries to slam it home. Good defense from Matthews getting back and stopping the easy dunk. Some hard contact there. This game originally supposed to happen on Friday night, but of course we had that winter storm across Texas that especially affected North Texas, where these Kangaroos hail from. And I guess Kangaroos don't do well in the ice and snow, Luke.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. I'm not sure how Tigers in general feel about it either, but glad that we had the opportunity to call some basketball this weekend. Double headers on both today and yesterday, so glad that all the basketball scheduled for the past few days ended up occurring.
Yeah, not quite sure exactly the climate that Tigers and Kangaroos prefer, but do you know how Austin College even became the Kangaroos?
Brian, I do not know the story, but I'm sure you do.
I happen to know a little bit about it. Back in the 1850s, Austin College had a kangaroo court set up. The upperclassmen at the university would try the freshmen for certain violations at the school. Now, that was abolished in the early 1900s. Didn't love that practice, but the students loved the name Kangaroo Court. And so then the kangaroo became their mascot. They had a live kangaroo for much of the early 20th century. After a couple of accidents with the kangaroo, they have decided against the live mascot, but the kangaroo remains hopeful and well for Austin College, and it's been that way for a long time now.
Brian, I have to applaud your knowledge as a stat guy, first and foremost, but I can't lie. Some of these anecdotes are some of the best parts of calling these games with you.
Oh, it's a great time. I love getting to call these games, love having you back here at CalGuard Gym. Miss Ryan Figert, friend of both of us. Gina Monaco knows calling the softball game, happening at the same time here on Tiger Network. And I know we just all love bringing you this action from Trinity. Lots going on, and happy to have everyone back in the stands and happy to bring you these broadcasts as well. So I appreciate that you appreciate the preparation that goes into it. Back from the timeout, Griffin Levine joins Jacob Millhouse, Braxton Berry. Here's Matthews and Jack Williams, and Griffin Levine gets that layup to go. So Levine in the box score for the first time, just 4 minutes played today. In the corner and fouled is Jonathan Lawrence, so he will head to the line for 3.
Foul number 15, Pierce Matthews, his third. Team foul number 8 will be 3.
A couple of quick fouls for Matthews, who just checked into the game a couple of minutes ago, but a couple of unfortunate bounces for him, really. We saw him contest that dunk, but looked like a clean block up top. He just got his feet tangled up with the offensive player from Austin College, and on that one, looked like he was pretty close, just a landing spot as jump shooter kicked his feet forward and was in a wrong place at the wrong time, unfortunately.
Lawrence does convert on his final of 3 free throws, and then he's immediately subbed by Jackson Rennie. Rennie remains quiet on the afternoon. He has had some foul trouble, 3 personal fouls. Just 4 points and 1 for 5 from the field. So keeping Rennie quiet has been a big reason the Tigers have done so well. That 3 just off from Jack Williams.
Foul number 15, Pierce Matthews, that's his 4th. Team foul number 9. And for Trinity was Abdullah Roberts.
But definitely some things to be excited about if you're the Roos, knowing that your leading scorer, Jackson Rennie, at the line right now is just a freshman. And then you look around the roster, Jason Jones Jr. averaging nearly 9 a game. He's just a sophomore. Tristan Dick, a junior. So as this team continues to play together and gain confidence, you can expect to see them be a threat in the conference. The SCAC from top to bottom has provided good games throughout this season. The Tigers themselves no stranger to close games. Levine's pass caught by King. Turnover number 16 for Trinity. Six-minute mark here in San Antonio. Roos trying to make one last push down 17. They'll need just about everything to go their way. And yet another block. Tigers really stuffing the Kangaroos. Roberts open for 3, just strong. Bench was ready to explode on that one. But 3 blocks from Braxton Berry since coming into the game. He's played just 7 minutes. What a force down low he's been.
Yeah, Brian, despite the substitutions and a lead that's ballooned up to 17 points, still really active on this defensive side of the court. Everyone on this Tiger roster continues to remain invested in this game. You can hear the bench loud chanting their teammates on the defensive end and running offensive sets all the way through, despite the fact that they almost certainly have this one in hand.
Fouls number 25, O.C. Berry, is first. Team foul number 5.
Berry trying to find someone to get the ball to. Eventually finds Levine. Stuck in the corner. Roberts helps him out a little bit. Then Williams from the top of the key. That one just rims out. So both teams going a little quiet. Trinity hasn't scored in 2 minutes. And the Kangaroos no field goals in 3. Trying to change that, but no can do is Caleb Bennett. So after some frantic play early on, definitely slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely, Brian. We talked about the field goal percentages for both of these teams a couple minutes ago. Trinity had increased theirs all the way to about 44% after shooting just 38% in the first half. But the story of this one is going to be kind of the fall of this Austin College success from the field. They finished that first half right around 52% from the field. But that's plummeted here in the second, only shooting 38% from the field on the day.
Jonathan Lawrence of Boston College.
Levine unable to connect on his free throws. But Trinity will be given another opportunity, a lane violation called. In for Trinity off of this foul as well, Nate Thompson, the first year from Austin, Texas. Three-pointer no good, rebound by King, and he puts it up. And you can see the cheers from what has to be friends and family. Griffin Levine, no good on the 3. But King from Smithson Valley, just about 30 minutes outside San Antonio, must be happy to be doing well in front of some fans.
Yeah, certainly a bright spot on the day for this Austin College side. We talked about the youth of this team and how they should be excited moving forward. We've seen them at times this season be competitive. Obviously a couple of wins in their last matchup, even with the Tigers. only a single-digit loss. We talked about the game that they played in yesterday, dropping that one by 1 at the very end, a heartbreaking finish. But I think you're certainly right, Brian, in that this is a side that's going to continue to have success and continue to improve over the next couple of conference seasons.
We have arrived at our final media timeout of this one. Tigers up 76-59. We'll take a break and be right back with you on Tiger Network. Welcome back to Tiger Network. 5 new faces on the court for the Tigers. Not only Nate Thompson and Jacob Milhouse, who gets it out to Elijah De La Garza, who scores a left-handed layup and makes his teammates go crazy. De La Garza joined by Grayson Herr and Grant Jacobs. So lots of youth out there. 4 of the 5 on the court are first years for Trinity. For De La Garza, that's his first bucket since December 21st against Alma. Jackson Rennie, meanwhile, knocking down a 3, his first three-pointer of the afternoon. And I'm sure something he'll be happy with, at least to take on to the remaining games. Talked about Austin being in last place of the SCAC, but they are not completely out of it yet. Just a couple of games out of that 6th spot in the tournament. They need every game pretty much, but they definitely have a chance. They have some home games coming up, 3 in a row. They face Dallas next, so they'll look to take some momentum into that. Meanwhile, Trinity Tigers remain at home for the rest of the week. Rennie feeling good now, and he swishes that one. So finally finding a groove just a little late. But Trinity staying at home here will be playing on Wednesday against Texas Lutheran. That Tuesday game got moved to the following Tuesday, so be on the lookout for that. Battle for the ball down low will result in a jump ball going to Austin. After that Wednesday matchup against TLU, Trinity will host Southwestern on Saturday before wrapping up the regular season at Dallas on February 20th. Hard to believe that it is already the end of the regular season, Luke.
Absolutely. I think we get kind of caught up. Basketball, unfortunately, a little bit forgotten due to the nature of the academic schedule at our university. But this has been an incredibly exciting, fun team to watch this season, and certainly suggest to those that can come out, make an appearance in these stands. It's a great environment as the students return.
Certainly encourage everyone to come out to Calgar Gym, watch these great Tiger teams. If not, we have every home game right here for you on Tiger Network. Grayson Herr floats it up, just a little short. The Tiger bench holding their breath on everyone, wanting their teammates who don't often get on the court this season to get their points. Just a minute remaining here as the Tigers nearly gonna close out another victory. That bucket off the glass made by Christian Lura, the sophomore from El Paso. And a timeout called by Austin College. Just a minute remaining here. We'll take a quick break on Tiger Network and be back to wrap things up for you. Welcome back to Tiger Network. So focused on some of the guys getting some new opportunities that sneakily the Kangaroos have put together a little 8-0 run to pull within 11. Might be a little late, and it doesn't look like Austin is fouling. But definitely some good fight shown from the Kangaroos.
Absolutely. Jackson Rennie, a name that we didn't call for much of this one, knocked down a couple deep three-pointers. And at bare minimum, even if they don't claw back in this one, it seems unlikely here as he takes another attempt. Second chance goes up and in, and just like that, Austin College within 9 of the Trinity Tigers here. Although it won't prove fruitful in the win column for the Kangaroos here today. Certainly a couple of minutes that they'll look to build on, as you touched on earlier, Brian, as they move forward and continue in the conference schedule, needing to get some more victories in order to claw into the SCAC postseason tournament.
Some pressure applied, but no fouls coming from Austin as Aaron Rideau knocks the ball loose. 14 seconds left on the shot clock, just 17 on the game clock. And now, with 13 seconds left, down by 9, Austin does elect to foul. Grant Jacobs going to the line. Jacobs, the first year from New Braunfels, Texas. A New Braunfels Unicorn sighting. Rennie with one last attempt. It is no good, and the buzzer sounds, clinching yet another victory for the Trinity Tigers. That is 7 in a row for the Tigers. A great way to finish off what's been a great weekend for them at home. A sweep of Centenary and Austin College. And just winning by 9, but that doesn't really reflect the separation that they were able to get in this second half, really pulling away from the Kangaroos. Tanner Brown leading the way for Trinity, leading with 19 points. He was joined by Enzo Seiki, who added 13, and a whole bunch of contributions along the way for the visiting Kangaroos. It was local Rex King with 18 points. Jackson Rennie did end up finishing with 11, and Tristan Dick rounding out those in double digits with 10 points. But it was the free throws and the three-point shooting that did in the Kangaroos and gave the Tigers this big victory as they continue their march through the SCAC. Big win for the Tigers, Luke.
Yeah, absolutely, Brian. You're right. Touching on the free throw shooting and the three-point shooting being big differences in this one, especially in that first half. But as we continued on into the second, Trinity kind of grabbed advantages in every statistical category. They led in points off turnovers. They led on second chance points. So there were some things that certainly stand out in this one, watching it. But when you look at the box score, you recognize that this is a Tiger team that kind of played a complete game of basketball, and they were very impressive today.
They are in pure domination mode, and they continue their march through the conference on Wednesday when they host the Texas Lutheran Bulldogs right here at CalGuard Gym. But before then, we are lucky to get more basketball here in San Antonio. The women's teams kick off in just about 19 minutes. We will have that for you on Tiger Network. Until then, grab a snack, grab a drink, and be right back with us.